Love has never been a popular movement, and no one's ever wanted really to be free. The world is held together, really it is held together, by the love and the passion of very few people. Otherwise, of course, you can despair. Walk down the street of any city, any afternoon, and look around you. What you got to remember is what you're looking at is also you. Everyone you're looking at is also you. You could be that person. You could be that monster. You could be that cop. And you have to decide in yourself not to be.
Chill.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another very exciting episode of VFX and Chill, a show where we like to mess with visual effects and make cool stuff. Here with me, as always, is my good buddy Seth, and we're also joined today by our lovely Michael.
Hi, lovely Michael.
So, Michael. Welcome. VFX and Chill is a show where we like to investigate ways to do visual effects at home. Today, as you might have seen from the title, we are talking about something slightly different than a visual effect, but about retro video game looks. And so we are going to be taking a look at how to turn your cool video graphics, motion graphics, or whatever into something that has this really cool vintage pixel dithered effect with the help of a brand new plugin that is now available with Maxon One, Red Giant stuff. It's actually 6 new plugins, which is really exciting. We'll get to all that, but I'm going to keep talking and say, if you're enjoying this show on a channel other than the VFX and Chill YouTube channel, we urge you to come on down to youtube.com/@VFXandChill. We are at 999 subscribers, so we would absolutely love, if you're on one of those other channels, to go to that link below and subscribe, maybe become our 1,000th member. That would be so cool. So feel free to do that. And also over on that channel is where we usually have our bigger chat that I can see during the show and stuff, so we can respond to your awesome comments during the show. And
like
right
this
away,
awesome comment from Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Jamie.
Hey,
And apparently
Welcome,
Justin
welcome.
Leduc woke up grumpy today. Poor Justin Leduc.
I don't really like
Meatloaf,
that music right now, but we're gonna
So
our real president, Justin Leduc. I am trying to find that little clip we talked about that I forgot to pull. That we thought we might watch on the show. Where did we
Excellent.
say it was?
I believe that it is in today's folder. I'm going to double check before I say out loud.
If you're talking about the promo, make sure it's version 6. That's one that has fewer typos in it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
But
Oh,
no,
which-
while they're looking for that, I would like to call out that while we're mostly talking about the pixel dither tools today on the show, Maxon Studio, whose shirt I am attempting to rep here, also got an update with one of my most annoying things has now been removed. If you've ever tried using Maxon Studio before, using any of the capsules, little template projects that had footage or logo replacement areas, you had to dive into the pre-comps, deep in the guts of the capsule to swap those things out. No longer. As of this update that happened this week to Maxon Studio, you can now just drag a file from Finder or Explorer, or from your project panel, or indeed even from the timeline into the Maxon Studio edit page, and it will swap out for your footage. So some of the motion graphics, slideshow intro things, and all the effects stuff, you can now just drag it right in there, and easy peasy, lemon squeezy, it goes. So yeah, that was one of the hugest issues I had with Maxon Studio, and it has been resolved. Next up on my list of complaints is I want to be able to do 9:16, not just 16:9. But nice. They're working on it.
Seth, I threw it into the renders folder, version 6.
Smart. Thank you very much. I'm grabbing it.
Absolutely. And I've just been notified in the chat that we are now officially at 1,000 subscribers.
What?
Thank you, everybody. You did it.
I'm looking for a drop I can use to celebrate, and here's the only one I can find. Wow. Okay, all of them. Okay, enough of that. That's really, really great news. Thank you, everybody. We are very, very proud of ourselves.
That was not easy, but I did it.
So thank you, everyone.
Incredible.
Let's see. What were we going to do? We were going to watch a little thing called a promo. So why don't we do that? I'm so scared to share my screen, but I'm just going to anyway. And we're not going to worry about it. Here we go. If we go to me, can we see anything? Can we see this? Okay.
Yeah, and I can hear it too. Can the audience hear it?
I'm sure they can. Get ready, everybody. It's going to blow your mind. Universe Pixel Diths.
Move your mouse.
You move your mouse. This is a very cool promo.
Hi.
What? Maxon. We did it.
So good. That was made by
cool
Ricardo.
promo.
Yeah, Ricardo made that. It's great.
It's
Love it.
freaking
hats off. It's
great.
I love it. It is
yes.
lovely.
Hats are off. Incredible work, Ricardo. We like this a lot.
Yes, we do.
So this is fun. I like this effect. I have been messing around.
You're a big ditherer.
I'm a big old ditherer, and I am excited that we have this plugin now because it is. I was skeptical, to be completely honest, having used other tools before.
Yeah, that's true.
This.
You were the resident expert in dithering.
Expert. I knew exactly what I was doing every time. No, I use this effect on a lot of our VFX and Chill graphics. For those of you who might remember any episodes where we went through the season 2 intro and graphics that we made, like I got really in the habit of doing this kind of chill dither preset that I made that took any ramps or gradients in our graphics and gave them this dithering effect, and I really, really liked it. And so I was skeptical when I heard we were making our own because I was like, I really like what I've got. What I've got is really simple and cool, and I don't know if I need a Red Giant version of it. And the second I started messing with these tools, I was like, oh, this is like crazy fast and really useful, and this is exactly what I need. And it actually it simplified for me the things that it simplified and complexified all of the right things for me.
Gave you the controls you needed while simplifying the stuff you didn't. Like it just kind of packaged it neatly.
Michael?
It's the way Red Giant does. Like Red Giant's kind of like secret sauce is making really complex, powerful things easy to use. Like that's part of why I've been such a fan of Red Giant even before, like long before Red Giant was even looking to fill this position. I don't know if that's what it is.
The point is, I'm a big fan of how this came out, and I was skeptical. Now I'm a big fan. That's the narrative. That's the order of events, and I'm excited to dive in and mess around with these. So
let's do it.
Let's do it. Hash, what do you want to do? You want to do something first, or what?
I think that it might be fun for us to both kind of play around with this dither plugin, because what's neat about it is that it's a stylization. It means you can do a whole lot of things with it. If for any reason you are one of our viewers and do not know what we're talking about when we say dithering, or based on the promo, what dithering means, it is the way that specifically older computers used to handle having a smaller number of colors that could be loaded into your screen. So you either had something like a video game running in 16, or, with 16 colors or 64 colors or 256, and then you get your thousands of colors and things like that. But as you can see,
thousands of colors, Hashi, that's impossible.
It's possible. Get ready.
Oh, wait, Hashi, that's impossible.
That's impossible, even for a computer.
There we go. That's all I wanted. Sorry.
Incredible. If you want, you could take a look at our beautiful outline around us that is usually this nice smooth gradient coming to you over the YouTubes there. And if you look in real closely, depending on your streaming quality right now, you can see that instead of, thousands of colors from one end to the other, it's actually just sharing two colors to approximate the gradient, but it's using this really cool little, like X's and squaresy dither pattern in between to sort of approximate a blending of those two colors. So your eye kind of does some of the work, the dithering does the rest, and depending on how much you like this effect, you can really, really turn it up for certain things. But I had mentioned that it was like 6 plugins, which sounds a little bit wild.
Yeah.
So I think that before we get too far, we should jump into our After Effects setup and show people what we mean when we say this.
100% should. So why don't you, let's go to both
I'm
of
going to
us.
start
After Effects.
sharing. There we go. And I'm going to open up some random footage. I grabbed a whole bunch of footage that I thought would be fun to see getting dithered into different things today. So let me open this all up. One thing that might be important to do when we're showing these off is we might want to full screen one of us so we can see them in
it's true. It flies in the face of everything you said before our show, but absolutely.
It does. I think once we get going, it'll be very fun to divide and conquer.
But you're right. It is like I will always want to underdo this effect, and then I will see it on a phone or a small screen, and I'll be like, oh, that's not nearly enough. Like if I just, zoom in, like if we look at how this looks, I'm trying to see if I can see, so you see how this dithering looks great, but then if I move back, it's like, oh.
It just looks smooth.
Yeah, it starts to look much smoother the further back I go.
Yeah, it's exactly the principle of your one option when you're doing a dithering effect is usually to reduce the apparent resolution of your comp. So Seth is still working in HD likely, but the dither plugin has a little setting over there. What is it labeled? Dither size?
Yeah. Dither size right now is at 1/8. 1/4, like a half is really nice. I like to do for the higher res stuff, and then 1/4 is what I've kind of found I like the look of for our show graphics today.
Well, put it to a 16th for those who are watching on
a
smartphone.
1/8, you see how it starts looking. I put it to 16th, like that's really what it kind of becomes, which is a cool look on its own, of course. But like we have
all of the little the pixels in that feel very ordered to me. I feel like there's a rhyme and a reason to the dither pattern going on there.
Right? So do we like void and cluster? I think. Well, so here's the deal. I don't know the science behind any of this stuff. And so that might be fun to dive into because Hashi, I imagine you do know the science behind a lot of this stuff.
I know a little bit behind it, which is mostly to say that if you're trying to figure out how to approximate something that you know is supposed to have a gradient in it, but you have an old computer that can only display a few different colors, and you want to do something like this. One way that you can generate those graphics is to do kind of a sampling.
Thank you.
Let's see. I'm not. I could demo it on this.
Hey, just do a black to white gradient.
Good call. Let's just do a fun little.
What?
No, tentacles just started.
Yeah, tentacles just started. Okay.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to do a ramp. Gradient ramp from black to white right there. Okay. And then on top of that, I'm going to do a new adjustment layer so we can just see our single effects on it. Now, if you go over to your effects and presets here, and were to type in dither, you'll see that there are a whole bunch of lovely universe dithers that say universe custom dither, universe error dither, halftone, ordered, and threshold. Now, these are all different types of ways that the gradient can kind of be approximated. Let's step through some of them now. Let's start with ordered, because I feel like that's the one that Seth is using over there. And here we go. Check this out.
So by default, posterization is at like the smallest amount of colors possible in the scene. So you end up with just black and just white. But when dithered, especially from a distance, it tricks the eye into thinking there's like shades there.
Mm-hmm. So pretty cool.
And if you crank up the dither amount there,
Spider-Man,
you'll make it a much wider gradient, but it's still only going to be black and white.
So almost all of our dither plugins start with a fairly similar thing. Like you'll see a dither size, which is either half, quarter, makes it bigger, and you could go all the way to like 16. And you have this cool houndstooth looking thing. I'll go to quarter for now. And then there's a dither intensity. That basically is explaining, just like Michael said, how much of the area gets dithered. So as I turn up dither intensity in almost any of these, it spreads out how much it's sort of interpolating with its dither effect. So that's pretty cool. And then there's a thing called a dither bias, which sort of has the effect of brightening or darkening something. What it really does is it's saying, where do you want most of the dithering to happen? Do you want it to happen in the darker ranges of the image or the brighter ranges of the image? And if I switch over to, since I'm using an adjustment layer, I can just throw this in here and under that. And now you can see an example using kind of an image. So check this out. So this is using the ordered dither. The type is Bayer, which is sort of using, you see these cool little crosses and pluses? It's a very grid-like system. Like imagine that inside your computer, it is playing a game of Minesweeper, where it is sort of saying, okay, I'm going to look at this pixel, and then I'm going to look at a certain number of samples around me to see how big they are. So in this case, it's at quarter resolution, and I have the dither intensity pretty high. It searches a lot of pixels around it to guess what should I do with this pattern around me. Bayer is a very popular pattern, and it's characterized by these organized little crosses and things like that. You can also switch to void and cluster, which is a little bit more similar to using something like a median or a threshold effect on your computer.
That's our new cop show, right? Void and cluster?
Yes, void and cluster.
Now, if you make the posterization less extreme, you can actually see the voids and clusters a little bit easier sometimes.
There we go. So there's a level 2, there's level 3, and if I turn this all the way up to, say, once I'm in like the 16 realm, then we've made it all the way to like 1996 inside the computer, which is kind of cool.
So you've got a lot more. Basically, the posterization level is how many colors it has. But I would like to point out, you've got options beyond posterization to limit your color palette.
Beyond just posterization?
I know. It's one of my favorite things in this tool is the palettes control. But first, I want to address Darby has a question. How long has Red Giant had a dither? Since Wednesday, Darby. Since this week.
Yeah, come on, Darby, catch up.
Keep up.
Mustard.
Incredible. So yes, aside from just posterization, and posterization is great because then it's drawing from your image to build a palette. But if you want, you can do things like, I'm going to show the boring ones first, bicolor, which you could choose, something like black and white, and then choose your own adventure. I mean, this is kind of cool.
I would point out, like in After Effects, the bicolor you might not seem all that important because you've got like tint effects and other things you can do in After Effects. But remember, these dither tools work in almost all the hosts, all the NLEs that Universe is hosted in. So you could be doing this in Avid Media Composer, DaVinci Resolve. Like you've got control in an NLE situation, not just After Effects.
Right.
Who's NLE?
And Seth, let me know if you remember that site that had all the palettes.
There's coolers.
Yeah.
If you can find out in the background, I'm going to pull this up.
Low spec is a good one.
Actually,
I found one. Wait, maybe that's the one I was using.
All right. So
low spec.
You'll get it. You'll get it. Posterization is taking the colors from the original image. But look at this. If you click on Palette Browser right here, it opens up this lovely, as you might have guessed, a palette browser. And this is the coolest. Look at this. We have like an Apple II, Atari, Commodore 64, a lot of these named after the system that one of these palettes might have been developed for, which is pretty cool.
And remind me, where's that import button, Hash?
The import button is right here. I can click on that.
If you're looking for palettes, by the way, right here, go to lowspec.com.
Look at that.
LOSPEC. LOSPCC.
Look at this glorious, lovely library of palettes.
They're awesome.
That people have grabbed.
We love it.
They've used their own color theory. They designed them for specific aesthetics and everything. And the coolest thing about them is you can download these in any of multiple palette formats for this and import them right to here.
I did the Photoshop ASC. I think that's what I downloaded them as. But
that's the one I usually use as well.
But you can download whatever in pretty much any of these, and then like Hashi's saying, you can import them right into the Pixel Dither plugin.
So here is me applying the Commodore 64 one, I think. So let me show you that again. I just say Palette Browser, and then it pulls this up, and I say I want to use the color palette from the Commodore 64. And you can see it converts the image into this, which looks so cool to me. I love that. And
it's such a cool look.
Yeah. And you can decide like not to dither very much, which gives you, more of the void and cluster look, or you can turn the dither all the way up to the point where it's sort of almost more like a printed looking pattern. But I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit.
I was gonna say, hold on. If you want to talk printing patterns, have we got a tool for you? But not yet. Hold on.
I'm holding.
Even beyond this, once you have all these in all of your dither plugins, you have color correction after the fact. So you can do things like you can brighten them straight through the same color palette, which is really cool to do post effects on them. You can play with the brightness. You can decide how much the image is saturated ahead of time. This particular image is super saturated, so I don't need to really do anything. But you can also decide to saturate it after the fact and push it into other ranges.
Because once you restrict to a palette, you might be like, gosh, that palette's, once it's applied, it isn't quite as punchy as I want. And you can just right there, kick it up a bit. But the pre-saturation is a really great thing. Like instead of having to have a separate effect to pre-saturate it, you just have that punch right there. And so that'll help because that just saturates it before the dither plugin does its processing. So it helps punch it up to maybe get better colors that in your chosen palette. Like that was such a great addition in the tool.
So very, very cool. Now, I applied ordered dither over here, but as we'd mentioned, there are several other versions. And so I can try to show this off really quickly. We have ordered. One of my favorite is error.
I love error diffuse. It's so fun. Look at that.
So check this out. Instead of using an ordered pattern, it kind of creates this cool noisy pattern. Meaning that it's not like playing Minesweeper by the distance from the pixel. It's actually looking at the trends of the pixels to give you this kind of thrown together thing. And you can see here, if I use the dither bias, the dither will either have more detail in the darker or the lighter areas of the image. This is on posterization level 1, but I could go back to load in my Commodore 64 palette and have a similar kind of look, but you can kind of see that here you're getting these cool little like stacks and lines and random patterns here as opposed to the little X's and O's, depending on what you want. There's all sorts of things. Then lastly, in the sort of same kind of manner, we have a threshold dither. And when I apply that, it looks a little bit like void and cluster as well. But this is just like the effect in After Effects. If you apply threshold, what it does is it forces everything in your image to black and white, and you decide the point at which black is separated and white is separated. Right at 64 is sort of in the middle for this image. But what's cool about a threshold dither is that it's doing that same thing to whatever posterization level you want. So I could turn this up and have more shades of color like that. And then I can push the dither bias into the darker areas or brighter areas. So you get just kind of a cool stylized effect that you can, zoom through the different number of pixels you want, etc. So this was all making me really nostalgic for some of my favorite games growing up, which are the Sierra and LucasArts games. And as soon as I saw that I had access to a really nice universal dither effect like this, that's what I wanted to start doing with it. So now that we're about half an hour into the show, I think that it could be fun to start doing things with these effects. I think y'all get it.
I want to talk about the halftone dither more, though.
Oh, yeah, the halftone dither is really cool, man.
It is cool.
Okay. One last thing.
Can I talk about it, please?
You talk about it.
Because I love it so much.
You want to share your screen, or just I'll
No. You do it. I've got stuff I can show in a minute, but you can just show that. So it's got 3 modes. All 3 are very different. It defaults to this one, which is monitor. And Hashi, just zoom in real close. You can kind of see what it looks like. Monitor gives you like what some newer monitors do, which is individual little lights that light up, photon things that give you. You go real close, you can see this red, blue, green. It behaves like light, and adjusting the size kind of can help show it off more. But this is what your computer monitor is doing. And what's really cool is you can make the size of these grow. Besides the spacing, so you can make the spacing still tight, but then grow the size, make it smaller, go smaller on that, and then pick the other size.
Yeah.
Right there, and then make that size bigger, and they'll actually overlap. Like you can do all kinds of cool effects with this.
Like look at this. If you turn
blur into each other, like
scale
that.
To X,
I love that.
Look at this.
So good.
It's really cool. It's basically like that woodcut. Look, if you turn this up, Chad Perkins shows off this, but look, you can fake people out that you're like watching a sound wave, and then suddenly realize.
Good for FUI greebly crap.
Look at that.
All right, reset to default, and let's talk about the LCD.
Gosh,
or
so cool.
Yeah, the LCD one.
All right, so we're on monitor right now.
Yeah.
Let's switch to LED. Check it out.
So this is like a more more modern-y kind of thing, where it's more grid-like. Also good for lots of cool effects, like especially you grow them up and they add over top of each other as well. And that gives a really cool bokeh looking effect too, if this is the one I'm thinking of. Just there you go, look at that. This one's really gets some options for stylizing, but my favorite of the modes is that one, yeah.
Printer.
So this actually, instead of working in RGB in light, this works in, which is additive, this works in subtractive CMYK mode. If you make things small enough, you can, or big enough, whichever, you can see that it's using cyan, yellow, magenta, and black to make the image. So you can get that cool printer halftone effect. Now you can uncheck split RGB and you'll get straight black and white newspapery halftone print. Hashi, you'll hit there you go.
This.
Dither bias to get us a little brighter.
Let's do that. And oops, there we are. Yeah.
Yep. It's great, but I like to split it because I was like not very long ago I was working on a way in After Effects using the color transforms to make proper halftone effects, like getting After Effects to do subtractive CMYK blending, and then this came out. I was like, well, poop. That was some wasted time. I could just use this now. It's great. I love you can work in RGB or CMYK, and you can get the look that you need. Plus, you can get those old school dithery things. Like there are so many tools that just like all dropped at once. It took Universe from 99 tools to.
You gonna do it? Are you gonna do it?
Oh, I already did it. It's up there. I put the promo out. It's on social media channels. 99 plugins, but a great one. And now with the 5 dither plugins plus palettes, which is standalone, by the way, we haven't talked about that. You have a standalone palettes effect that will just recolor your image without any like dithering mess. So you just type in palettes. There you go. You can apply a palette to your scene. Defaults to just a black and white palette, but you can get just a palette with no dithering. So whatever you've got underneath is just recolored to whatever the specific colors you want. Now, this is really great if some client you've got is a stickler for brand colors. You can just be like, yeah, all your footage is brand colors. You're welcome.
And one of my favorite things when you're shopping through looks is that you can cycle the hue in almost all of these. And like, look at this weird combination. I just like being able to very quickly do this. And you can see how quickly and responsive this is. It's very, very fun. So yeah, all sorts of cool things that you can do. I think that I might have, let me see, I can probably load in some things that I have rendered or saved around here.
Now, Michael Palak calls out Brielle Garcia and the Sega Genesis. Yeah, we off camera hinted to Brielle that something was coming that she would enjoy. But you may have noticed, sharp-eyed viewers might have noticed the promos on the Red Giant social media channels were using these tools for the promos for that show before they were released, as a little bit of a hint for our hardcore fans.
And soft-eyed viewers don't notice shit.
Well, because it's dithered, so they just saw smooth gradients.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no offense for soft-eyed. I have to wear glasses.
Hashi, what is that?
What is that?
Oh, this is just
perfect.
That looks so cool.
This is perfect. This is how I was feeling at the beginning of the week, and then I made some other fun stuff. I think that, let's see.
Yeah, where's the one you made after?
Yeah,
that's a good one.
This one's kind of fun. Hell yeah. I think I'm not sharing my exciting music, which does a lot of the heavy lifting there. But
yeah, the music is very important for that.
So just one cool little summary I have here is here's a little summary of the dithers that we just talked about. This is up here we have ordered, and you can kind of see ordered because of those little pluses and X's that appear throughout. Here is an error pattern where you can see that, there's still stippling, but the stippling isn't happening in, any kind of grid-like form. It's really happening more in a little way like that. Down here, this is just one of the weird versions from the halftone pattern, and here is a threshold, which actually ended up looking a little bit, maybe the most like some of the Sierra games that I was imagining, even though I was thinking that it might be like the Sierra diffuse pattern, but they're not related.
Not related.
Not related. Both called Sierra, not related. And I also made another weird one. I can play that later. I'll play that. We can play that at the end, ominously, to end the show or something. I'll check this out. I have no idea if over YouTube what this will look like on their side.
I have no idea what it's supposed to look like. It is.
It's just supposed to draw you in and be.
I'm drawn in.
Excellent. So, since I've been very inspired by, cool Sierra games and things like that, I want to try to create something of my own. Seth, do you think that there's something that you'll be working on that is different than that today?
I've been working on something over here, just trying to make a void cluster.
Yes.
Splash screen. And again, it looks cool on my computer, but I'm looking at the feed and it's like no dithering whatsoever. So let me just turn this up real quick. Well, that's way too much.
There you go. That's good. For at least on my end.
You can't read the bottom text at all anymore, but just so everyone can see, it's
incredible. There you go.
Now part of me wants to, let's see, if I do a CC toner on this city here, and then I'm going to use my Colorly preset to automatically pull various, like to reset colors in various palettes.
Interesting. Ooh.
That's a very film noir void and cluster screen. What else we got?
Wow.
Anyway.
But these are so fast. Just watching
Yeah,
it,
that's
like,
the crazy
come up
thing. It
with a
takes
cool
it takes a second to pop up when you first apply one of the effects, but then they're shockingly fast compared to some of the other tools out there that I've used.
Yeah, they are.
because like I have no idea how they work, but like they arguably could just be like doing some really cool. I mean, just sampling them, but not having to show all pixels in the end, which is really cool. Oh, there we go. It's like an Apple II
Well, yeah.
thing,
So
like in your library.
right now I'm on the error diffuse.
I like that white and pink one.
Well, what if instead I'm going to do order dither, and I'm going to say let's do some palettes. Palette browser, please. RGB 6-bit. Anyway, Apple II. There's the actual Apple II colors. But again, I feel like.
See, I'm going to open a file to see. I don't remember if I have it hooked up anymore.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah. I do.
That is pretty nice. That looks like it would be, you just need a 1-player, 2-player thing right under that.
Yeah. 100%. So we just do.
And obviously if you play this game, you always choose cluster, right? Like by default, that's your main player.
Yes. Always play as cluster.
Everyone is like, oh, like you're a square if you play as void. All right, let me see if I have this saved properly. Okay, I'll open it up in Cinema just to show it off. So over here, do you want to try split screening at this point, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
So one of my very favorite games growing up was, game series was the Space Quest series.
500%. In fact, I went through and I sampled a bunch of Space Quest music for this episode.
Wait, can we do a cool lo-fi music in the background kind of thing?
The problem is what I started on ended up not being very lo-fi. So I've got the sounds I got from this. Can you guys hear that? Is that coming through?
I'm hearing it quite loud.
Good. It's just, I love these sounds so much.
Such great sounds.
All right. So what are you doing over there, Hash?
So I wanted to see if I could generate backgrounds that felt reminiscent of Space Quest backgrounds. And so the way I went about that was actually, let me see if it's still in here. C4. There we go. So I went into Cinema and loaded up some cool, just random models from people and threw them over a little landscape. And then just imported that model with Cineware so I could fly around it in 3D and give myself this interactive map of like this navigable 3D thing that I can sample at kind of the right rate. I'm trying to blow it up so you can sort of see that it looks a lot like probably maybe Space Quest 4 is when they switched to VGA.
Yeah.
And I loved it because they had, I think Space Quest 4 deals with time travel. So parts of the game where you time travel into previous games, they're in
and then
the old
future
color
sequels
palette
that make no sense as well. And there's like characters that are like making fun of you for the color palette that you're in. It's great.
Yes. That was my favorite bit of it. It's just a bunch of dweebs making silly games. So this was something I was playing with last week. I decided to kind of abandon it. I don't know where I was going with it, but if you have a 3D model and you have this cool void and cluster thing, look at you can create these very, very out of time looking backgrounds. So I love them anyway. And then the thing that I thought that I might do today is in the past, and I wonder where I have it saved. Let me see if I can find. It's always fun when Hashi tries to quickly find something that he saved on his computer.
Oh,
while Hashi's looking for something that he quickly found.
Didn't I make something for that? I thought I made a drop for that. Maybe I didn't.
Oh man, we definitely thought
Hashi's
about it.
Searching. We talked about it. Remember we talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
Well, so while Hashi's looking for that, folks, I know we've got a couple of you who are watching live are from California, but if you are from California and you didn't already say it in the chat, let us know where you are watching from, so we can
where are you from?
see. Yeah, where you at?
Where are you from? At? What channel are you watching this on? If you're watching it on Maxon or Maxon Training Team or Red Giant or Action Movie Kid or Action Movie Dad, we encourage you to come over to the VFX and Chill YouTube channel. We just passed 1,000 subscribers today, which feels very, very awesome. And you could all join us here and do more. Hello, Sonny.
Hello, Sonny.
And we've got folks are already starting to chat in. Andy Torres is watching from Arkansas, which is nice. Sorry about your college team's perform. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I was watching.
Yeah, college sports nailed it. You got it.
We've got Jamie is watching from Canada.
Woohoo, Canada.
Jamie! Justin from Los Angeles. Tim Shabix, if it's pronounced Polishly, from Orange County. Michael used to live just to the right of what's on Seth's screen. Sunny is watching from Southern India. It is 1:15 a.m. Thank you for your dedication.
Thank you.
Very, very much appreciate that.
This is the drop I'm going to make, by the way, for when Hashi goes looking through his hard drive.
Gosh.
Abe from Georgia. The state or the country, Abe? I'm curious which one it is. John Birmingham, still in Ireland. Nice that you're watching from there. Adam Scholes is on the VFX and Chill channel and watching from the suburbs of Toronto, and Brian Smith from San Rafael, California.
Love it. Got a pretty good collection. Let's see. So Sonny is watching from the furthest away that I remember from that list. I'm not sure if depending on where we call. I'm gonna imagine Central Time is where I'm going to say the majority of our humans are. So the furthest away from Central Time is probably Southern India.
Probably. I mean, could be Ireland. Have spoken up so far. No, I think India's further because the flight to Ireland from here isn't that long. Because I flew to England, which is just a touch further than Ireland, and it was not nearly as bad as flights from here to India are. So. Oh, hey, Andy Torres is over in the official chat now. Thanks for scooching on over.
Good job, Andy.
And Abe is short for Abraham. Thank you for the correction on your pronunciation. I hate people mispronouncing my name, and so I'm always happy to pronounce someone's name correctly. Hello, Abe, and yes, from Georgia, the state in America. Oh, hey, we've got Le Badger writing in from Scotland. We've got a couple of different
Badger and
Celtic
Leduc
isles.
might get into
a very French fight. Yeah.
Yes. And use ZBrush.
ZBrush.
Nice.
I was using some recreational ZBrush this morning.
ZBrush.
Recreational.
I was going to try to make something for today, but I didn't quite get there. But I have no idea what I'm doing now. I got distracted because I was
very
looking
distracted.
I got addicted. I became a big fan of this name as a video game, just called You Dead, and so
You Dead.
Because I was gonna make because I heard this sound. Nope. Wait. Which one was it? This one. That sounds like a you
Ooh,
died
yeah.
screen, right? And so
It does sound like it. Yeah, you're definitely.
I was gonna make that,
yeah.
and then I looked at this and was like, that's a better name for the game. You Dead? I absolutely want to play You Dead. So I'm just exploring typography as one Whirly does.
It is a very fun thing to do. I always forget what my my best pixelated kind of things are, like pixel type fonts.
The best ones are not pixely. The best ones are you pick a cool title and that's like graphical, because like especially these like scripty ones, like they look great because they like games were not trying to look pixelated. Games were trying to look like we have the dithering stuff giving us that look already anyway. So it's like really just trying to find a cool graphical one. I will say if you want a good like pixely, a couple font, the ones that I recommend that I really like are, so let me open up this You Dead and let me turn off our pixel dithering. Okay, that actually rules right there, to be honest.
Oh, wow. That's a, man. See, that's too cool for video game developers to ever come across.
100%. You do You Dead and you put the city in front of it. Okay, but
wow.
I highly recommend, I recommend if you want some pixely fonts, there is a recreation, like it's called Chikarego, Chikare Go, and it's named after the Chicago font from Apple, but also after Karen. Oh shoot! No. Care. Dang it! Literally, Susan Care. She is literally on my wall. I have a picture of her because I think she rules. This really cool picture of Susan Care. Let me find it. Who designed all of the? I have this picture up my wall because I just think it's the coolest picture ever. Where she designed all those iconic original Apple fonts and enough fonts, but icons. Sorry, and so there's a font called Chikarego that I recommend. I don't know if these are the official links to get them, but yeah, it's a really great pixely font. I also really like, and this was used on the Better Call Saul intro, and so I used it a whole bunch for a long time. It's a VCR OSD mono.
Nice.
That one's great. VT323 is also fun. And there's also, I believe there's a free like shareware version of this, but it's New Bit is a really great one. But again, I really think the fun stuff is like, so like Skull and Void, like we turn on this back on, like that there looks like.
That's so good.
Yeah. And again, we can turn this up just to make it even more pixely if we want for the viewers at home.
Oh yeah, because you need it that big because of for how small it is now. Now, Michael Powlek, while you may have that opinion, and Chicago compared to say LA and New York, similar sized American cities, the violent crime rate used to be kind of matching them, but in the past decade or two, it has skyrocketed beyond them. So I think it's
way to go, Chicago.
A fair characterization.
We did it. See, yeah, I need to stop. I don't know why I'm still searching for this.
Now, Seth, you made a really interesting point a minute ago that I'm not sure.
You're not sure I meant to. That sounds
no.
Like
I'm not sure we have addressed as well as we probably should. Pixely. Like these dithered looks that are so like reminiscent of the retro stuff that we are familiar with from our gaming childhoods, they were never intended to be seen as pixel art. They were just working in the constraints of their systems, but they were being, for the vast majority of their intended lifetimes, were being displayed on screens that were CRT tubes. So you wouldn't actually see this pixely stuff because they would get blended out by how, hang on, I can share my screen for this.
Ooh,
give me a second.
Do it.
I think that'll
screen, start sharing.
Should hopefully jump into my box there.
All right, you ready?
There we go.
Are you ready?
Excellent. I think we're seeing you.
Yeah.
All right. So let me scooch this Skype window out of the way here. So we've got this really cool graphic here. I've got this Skitter Girl. Looks awesome with the dithery plugins on it, but you wouldn't be seeing this pattern if you had it on an analog screen. It smooths out a lot of that. And this is where some of the really cool stuff about Universe is. There's a lot of tools in Universe, and I'm using Universe Analog on top of this to just give it a little bit more of an analog screen look, and it washes out quite a bit of that detail. This is that really cool, like, ooh, it's good pixel art. This just looks like actually an old game. So like this is more how it's intended to look. So I say a lot of the time you're going to want to throw Universe Analog and maybe build yourself a preset that works well with the dithery effects. But you can really get that actual retro feeling by layering those two together. While I'm sharing my screen here, let's talk about some other cool things. What I really like to do, again on the topic of emulating how it would actually have looked, I like to throw on like a glow, like in this case I'm using Universe Glow on top of this, because in a tube screen, brighter areas would bleed over just on the screen's surface. So you can have a dithered glow might be fine, but in this case, I want the glow to be after the dither, so it feels like it's diffusing on the screen. And so you get this really cool, like cyberpunky looking stuff going on, and it just adding a glow on top of the dither really helps sell that kind of like it's on a screen kind of feel. I was also playing with some other effects like here.
Go back to that one more time.
This one. You like this one?
So cool.
Yeah. This one looks like I was a really
like it looks designed
really
for that, which is so cool.
Here's what it looks like. Just by
you'll
itself.
find that if you anything that has that too light, like negative fill kind of result really contributes to
those
this
patterns
aesthetic.
there. Look just so I love this stuff so much. This is that good old error diffuse dither going on. Anyway, hang on. I'm going to get distracted. Here's a cool effect I got here. For this one, if I play it back, I posterized the time so it didn't feel like it felt more like the limitations of the graphic systems at the time. But you'll notice my screen stuff is moving like a interference on a screen would. It's moving in real time because I have the posterized time happening first, then the ordered dither in this case, and then Universe Analog on top of it. So all that's together takes this footage here, which it's fine, really cool matrixy looking stuff, and makes it look like an old video game of from before the Matrix's is time. And here's a fun one. This one, let me turn off analog for this one because there's something here I want to talk about. So that's not dither anymore. This should say analog. What I did for this one was if I applied just analog to this clip by itself, or dithering, let me solo it without the roto brush, and I played it, the background had noise. Background had like noise, so it's kind of moving around somewhat. I'm like, no, in a real video game, he's the only thing that should be moving because the background, would be just a graphic they put up there, so it needed to keep redithering it every time. They just dither it the one time. So I rotoed him out, built a different background behind him, and so I have a separate separate error diffuse dither on the background and him, so they're just being done separately. And then over top of both of them, I've got the Universe Analog where I've like turned it to the side so you can see like the curvature of the screen and whatnot to really sell this like.
Nice. So when you had him on his own layer, are you saying that these dither plugins work with something with an alpha channel?
They do. Observe the alpha channel. Yes, you can use these on alpha channels. Let me unsolo that and turn the transparency grid back off. Here's a really cool one. I got this like nice cyberpunk look. This one I was playing with, again, I got the Universe Glow going on there. I was playing with the ordered dither's ability to change the rotation.
Ooh.
So I get void and cluster, but I've cranked the scale of the filter way up and then went sideways. So you get this like really crazy look here where you've got this like angled clusters going wacky and just adds a ton of texture to it. Again, without any effects, this is what that looks like. and that just really grunges things up, but in a very interesting way. Like you probably wouldn't have Void and Cluster going like at 140, like in real life. But now that we were able to push things in a stylized way, I'm not aiming for realism with this one. I'm aiming for like an idea of nostalgia that isn't realistic. And here's a fun one. I was just like, this is definitely a Mortal Kombat-y look.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's my favorite part about what we're getting to do today. Hey, it's our stock actor.
It's our stock actor from that hilarious promo.
Yes.
Where everything was awful. Yeah, but now she looks real badass in this cool scene here. This one
of the few times where like you make a promo with a stock performer, and we eventually heard from the
I forgot about that.
the stock performer who was like, I can't believe what I'm being used for.
I thought she was supportive in some way,
game.
wasn't she, or was she not?
No, she enjoyed it. She thought the joke.
She thought it was funny. Yeah.
Good.
But for this one, here's what it looks like on its own. But I wanted to fuss with the colors more, so I used Mojo for Magic Bullet to change the colors to more
digital magic.
Okay, thanks, George.
To kind of unify the background colors and the skin tones together, and then with the ordered dither posterized at level 4, you end up with this kind of color palette, which I just loved that. And then just talking about printing stuff, we've got this like halftone dither being used. Then, so this is the footage by itself. Halftone dithered, used levels to make the background just a little bit lighter so you could see this texturized motion from Universe on top of it.
Hey, so Michael, while you're in there, I want to see something.
Yes, where?
Before all three of those effects, throw in the Sketchify effect for me.
Oh, see, no, this footage, it doesn't work well. I did try that. Yeah, it doesn't work great for this particular set of footage. But there you get this kind of cool, like, so his cape, I'm pointing at my screen, you can't see it. Anyway, his cape is blowing in the wind, and they've got the kind of light flickering. But for the most part, it's kind of got the still, like, twitchy, comic book-y, printed up look, which is pretty neat. Here, I'll show you what it looks like with Sketchify on it. Just for Sketchify. There you are. So that's what it looks like with that. So
it sometimes can do some really cool stuff.
Depending on your footage, Sketchify is a great thing to use. But the background's already black, so you don't really get that cool outline around them that Sketchify would give you if it was a lighter background. Now, if I rotoed them out and put them on like a lighter colored background, then Sketchify would give you that black outline. Or you could use Vegas to really give yourself a solid outline around something. Then here's another one where.
And that would be in a way if you had some kind of element that you're trying to simulate pixel art, where someone was able to, generate what the outline looked like, as opposed to a pure conversion of one style to another.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So I was playing with, this is just another one I was playing with, adding different glows and stuff to it. But this is, let me pop into the pre-comp there. I don't remember I pre-comped it. This is using the halftone dither to make it look like the screen. Here's the original. Halftone dithering it up in the monitor settings. Here's my shifted the hue just a touch to make the glasses be the color I wanted, and the background to have that kind of cool color. Now, if I zoom way in on here, you see that background that looks yellow is just green and red, but it makes it look like that, right? It makes it look like that kind of yellow look. Now at half, like the funky resolutions, you get like these weird moire effects, which is great. Like this whole thing is just awesome. I love playing with these tools. And get it back out of this into my glowed settings. So then I just added, here's the halftone, then optical glow over top of it. I think it was adding other things in the scene. It doesn't matter what I was doing. Oh. But yeah, there's some of the examples of things that I was playing with. Yeah, it's just so much fun to just get yourself these aesthetics and just play around. Like, these tools are so exciting to me. I love them so much.
That's so cool.
Sorry,
cool.
I've been
never apologize, never surrender.
Excellent. I'm going to switch. I'm going to take the screen back here. Take the screen back.
I have accomplished nothing.
Says they're going to try to make this without plugins. Which one of the tools? I'd like to see it. We have made some of these things before. Hashi has a whole tutorial on the Red Giant YouTube channel, I believe.
I should just repost that over here.
Where he talks about 16-bit graphics.
It's probably
And
a
recreating them.
VFX side quest.
Naturally, that link is about to show up in the chat.
Look at that. And so, yeah, like speaking of
There it
that,
is.
in that
Should be showing up in the chat
very episode
shortly.
was where
That's a way to make some of these effects happen without using plugins. But it's a lot easier now that you have the plugins.
I know that whole tutorial.
Randy
I
says,
feel
"What
like
is
you
that
just do
bar
that.
below the
I wonder
viewport?"
if Michael's can't hear us anymore.
The bar below my viewport is called K-bar. Also, the bar
K-bar.
to the right of my viewport is another K-bar bar. K-bar is a tool that I use for productivity. I forgot to switch it to my tutorials interface for this, which hides all my extra stuff. K-bar lets you automate things. If you switch back to me, I can talk through some. No, I don't need to talk through them. It lets you automate things. You can run scriptlets with it. You can paste expressions with it. It's just a very handy tool for productivity. For example, I've got one of my favorite ones. I've got the Transform Sandwich free tool from Battle Axe that puts a transform effect above and below other effects on your layer. So you can, like, for example, rotate your layer, apply mosaic, then rotate it back. So instead of having squares, you get diamond shapes. But it links everything with expressions, so you just have to adjust one of them, and the other one offsets it. So you can scale it or rotate it, and then it scales it, rotates it back. So you sandwich your things before you transfer animations. And I got one button that does it right here in K-bar, which is neat.
Very useful.
And I'm probably
Michael,
going
can
to
you hear
be
us
showing
by any
off
chance?
that trick for doing. Hang on, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it now.
Maybe he can't.
Take it-
Michael,
take it
can
back
you hear
to
us?
Transform sandwich on this.
Hashi,
it's a
can
good
you hear
question.
me?
So we have now.
I can hear. I can hear you, Seth.
Top,
Okay.
sandwich bottom.
Michael,
these
can
are
you hear
both
us?
just
Are you
regular
willfully
After Effects
ignoring
transform
us?
effects, but now when I rotate
Michael,
this,
send up a
say,
signal if you're
45
okay.
degrees.
Oh no.
There we go. So
Okay.
I'll turn these effects off and walk you through it. So we rotate
I
it.
like how he's
with that
teaching
sandwich
us,
effect,
and we-
rotate it back, so
Does-
nothing has
does he
happened.
think
But
we can
this
see his
dithering
screen,
is
too?
happening on the rotated version. So you get it dithered and then rotated back, and it gives
Yeah,
you
I
a
think he
very
thinks that
interesting look
too.
that everything's kind of more diagonal now.
Oh
There you
no.
go. The transform sandwich. It's a great tip for lots of
Might
things,
be
I'll
a
try
good
it.
and
idea
that's what
to
these
reach
bars
out
are
to
on my
him.
screen. All right, back to you guys. I'm done.
Wonderful. Michael, was that just a really good act, or can you not hear us at all?
No, I couldn't hear you even a little bit. Not even a little.
Okay,
Come
great.
out.
I can't wait for you to see that clip because it was honestly the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Hashi and I are like, he's still talking, but he is teaching. But screen, should somebody call him? And you kept going, and it was pretty remarkable. I loved it.
Amazing. All right.
No,
So-
my headphones popped out. Sorry. You guys go.
Good.
What I'm doing
this
over
meant
here.
people learned a little bit more than they usually do.
Bonus learning.
Bonus learning.
But
Normal.
so as I was playing several times on the screen earlier, I made that North by Northwest clip into a kind of arcade style video game, and I was thinking that maybe with some of the remaining time today, I would work on this other very famous scene and try to convert it into more of a video game look. So famously, the Singing in the Rain, the shot is kind of filmed in just a few very long tracking masters that kind of go along this cool set. And so what I've done is I've gone through this set, and I've been kind of trying to sequentially find each new segment and then copy and then paste it over here into this long panorama that I'm trying to build of...
Josh, are you sharing? I don't know if I can
Oh,
see.
Darn it.
It looks frozen.
Let's see.
Sorry, bud.
It was frozen. That's all right. I was just scrubbing through this lovely Singing in the Rain performance, which I believe was famously done in just a few takes or something like that. But it's this lovely kind of camera pan along this this little soundstage set. It's probably in Probably Pinewood Studios or something. I don't know. I'm making up facts now.
Pinewood is now Atlanta, but also London originally. So I would imagine it would be on one of the LA lots. But anyway, unless it was shot, I don't think it was shot in London. I'm gonna shut up.
Randy Taylor's asking, did you remove the rain from these shots, Hashi, or is it just
I don't think
not
it's
very
actually
visible.
raining in that shot.
So, I have not removed the rain yet, though I have been trying to favor, like you'll see if I zoom in, you can see that there are little areas of rain and stuff. But I'm trying to kind of square up and attach together all the pieces of this set. I don't know why I'm trying to be so accurate. I just know that these are such iconic little locations that he moves through. So I'm trying to kind of build the ultimate panorama of the whole Singing in the Rain set.
Awesome.
It breaks my brain too because it's the wrong direction for a side-scrolling video game. If you're in a Western hemisphere, or a reading, I believe that it's something to do with reading direction being prominent, and I don't know. In cinema, it's supposed to be either evil or strong to move this direction across the screen, and Gene Kelly is both. No,
Solid.
it's not.
It's now complimenting our jokes.
So what have I got here? I'm just doing my best panorama job over here, and this is made a lot easier by generative fill, which is really cool because I can easily do things like these don't match up very well, but this is, the pharmacy overlapping that thing. I say pharmacy because it says pharmacy right there. But I'm trying to kind of line everything up, do what I can to then say, let's erase Gene from this shot, and I'm also going to erase the lamppost here because I want to start adding back in a multi-planed effect. So let's do a quick generate without any prompt in there, and that'll hopefully come up with something that looks like a pretty clean background right here.
Michael Pollack says Singing in the Rain was done in MGM Studios, Culver City.
It was in Culver, of course.
MGM Culver. So wait, what is that? What is that now?
It leaned really hard into it being a
Studios?
Hollywood thing. So this is filmed over in the worst part of LA to get to.
It is. But I'm wondering, was that Culver Studios or is that now Culver Studios or is that now Sony? I don't remember.
Seth, can we have Hashi screen a little bit bigger? Some folks are having a hard time seeing what he's doing.
Yeah, no one wants to keep watching me finding the stupid color palette for You Dead. Go right ahead.
Okay, so what am I doing here? I am just trying to seam together the backgrounds from Singing in the Rain into one kind of larger bit. Whoops. What am I doing? That's my paintbrush, not my eraser. See, instead of using masks, I'm just going right in and erasing the layer and just hoping for the best. There we go. All right, so this is the kind of fun part about it, is that you can sort of line up stuff the way you would do any traditional panorama, but if you're missing bits, you can just select something and then kind of generative replace it if you want. Okay, so this window is probably, oh no, I thought it was that window, but, oh, it is. See, the camera keeps changing, so this sign is now this sign, and that window is this window. So they don't match up anymore because they changed the lighting setup for this next shot. But if I scale this about right for that window, I'll get something kind of like this. I can just select him right there and erase him. I bet that this will look pretty good. Erasing. That looks pretty good. Ooh, that's my favorite because it looks like it's got a little bit of realistic detail. And then let's go ahead and
it's got some more imperfections in it. That middle one was almost too perfect.
Yes. So this gradient right here looks pretty rough. But what I could do is I could select the area where the gradient looks kind of rough, like so, and say, generate something for me, baby, and let's see what it does. Interesting. Oh, the colors are so different, it's inventing a new a new wall there. So I'm going to turn that off, and I'll have to do some real photoshopping.
I kind of wish we had audio for our chat because Michael Palak is doing a lovely song about side scrolling in the rain that I would really like to hear them sing.
I would like to hear that too.
I'm good.
We do need more musical-y episodes.
I mean, we all remember your musical tutorial, and
Heck yeah. Ooh. I hear... Goodness, I hear the music coming in here. Now, what happened here... So what happened here was that I tried using the photo merge thing originally, and that's what it did. It just made that sound. Yeah, you can, in Photoshop, you can usually have it try to seam together little panoramas by itself, but it really let me down on this one. So I'm going to grab this thing. I'm going to say select subject. Hopefully that'll grab him. And maybe the umbrella.
Real quick note, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Hashi's musical tutorial, after this episode of VFX and Chill is done, check that link in the chat for the greatest tutorial intro you will have ever seen in your life.
Yeah, we need to...
It's fantastic.
Sell that one so much. Select, modify, expand. Okay, I just want to erase them from this. I think that I have another still of the rest of that. Let's say that's probably the closest. Okay, so here's that full sign that I can copy and paste over here. What I am doing is I am trying to build one long panorama that is as faithful as I can to this whole set. So then I can have little digital Gene Kelly walk through this whole thing and make it look like a video game of this whole setup. So let's copy this over into my crazy panorama. Panorama's getting very, very long. Of course, if this were a video game, it would be broken up into different cards. I did find out the other day that there are some cool open sourcey, I don't remember what they're called, ways to program your own Sierra style game, which for some reason when I found it out,
yes, that's what we talked about on
week,
the...
I was like, I could master that over the week and have a playable game of sorts based on VFX and Chill.
I'm really pissed that you don't have it.
Spoiler alert, I did not. Okay, let's do a little corner pinning to straighten out sign there, and there we go. Do a little bit of blending right there. Put these together. There we go. Close enough. Goodness. You know what? This is probably, at this point, getting a little bit boring. So I'm going to skip these last two locations because, if anyone from the, Culver Studios Preservation Society comes after me, they can.
MGM Studios. Let's find out. Hang on.
See, they had a lot of extra cash and time on their hands last time I thought about them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, they're now owned by Amazon, so they are on Culver Studios lot, but I'm curious of what lot used to be the MGM Studios lot. Not Mom Studios, MGM.
Image crop.
I know it's now Sony Pictures Studios, which is a great lot. So that used to be. That is where they filmed Singing in the Rain and Wizard of Oz. Fantastic.
Incredible. Okay, so one thing that I've found kind of funny about generative fill is that if you have generative fill do these old like MGM stills that were filmed on a sound studio or something like that, it seems to pick up on the fact that there are these few, like spread apart light sources just above the set for everything. And so it's almost like instead of generating the actual location, it generates a set of the location, which I just find cool. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. So in theory, you'd think this would look like buildings and things above here, but I think it's going to look like building for a little bit, and then it'll become a movie set on the top half. Okay, interesting. Ooh, that's a pretty cool one. I think that's the coolest top look there. I don't like the way this looks. I want that to be a square window. Okay, square enough. Yeah, square enough. Okay, and now let's go ahead and do a select. I actually have an action for this, where you, if you have one layer, like a PNG or something with extra around it, I have this one right here. It'll just select all pixels there, and then select the inverse, pad it a little bit, and then run a blank generative fill to try to imagine what's going on in the background. And see what it comes up with. I probably should have cleared the road a little bit first, or cleaned up some of this first. Whoa, weird. Okay, there we go. That looks a little closer. So bizarre.
So bizarre.
So bizarre, so bizarre.
So bizarre.
All right. Let's
Me crazy.
stick with this one. Every time I look around.
See, we have music.
We do. Is that us getting the...
That's how the people really feel. I am obsessing.
Visit to Charlie says howdy. Howdy, visit to Charlie.
Hey there.
Hi.
Oh, right now, while we're just goofing around with these things, it might be a good time to mention that we have this lovely thing. The link is probably right in the description of this episode. But we have something called the VFX and Chill suggestion box, where you can submit clips that you're curious to hear how they did. You can submit work that you have done and you want us to react to. And every now and then we will have some kind of a chill challenge where we put it out to our audience to kind of ask what kinds of things they are working on or have built that work along these lines. So you can go there and you can submit stuff anytime. For example, we had a request, I think, this week from our very own Jamie that said, oops, where did it go? I opened it and then I lost it. A suggestion, a YouTube clip to ask, let's see, it says, see, I'm gonna open up a video over here.
Show me. What is it?
Excellent. This is a video from CoffeeZilla. And the question was, I thought that this robot, Dr. Maxwell, was animated really well. It has good reflections on the way that it fits into the scene with the surrounding area. So here we go. I'm playing a little clip. We could take a look at what we think of this character.
I think it looks pretty good.
Oh, it looks pretty good.
I agree. See, when you have stylized lighting in a scene like this, and you match it in a 3D render, like it really helps sell that render is in the scene.
That's very nice. So yeah, one thing that I'm slightly noticing is that I'm guessing, I mean, it's a it's for a YouTube video, which is all, as I know, you don't always have to go with the highest of qualities. But I noticed that when he moves, there's a little bit of flickering of some of the highlight, especially the bright highlight areas, that show that the sampling on the rendering is probably set pretty low, unless it's done with some kind of a real-time output. But I'm guessing it's a render, since it's composited into this and stuff. So there's a little bit of sampling glitch. I don't know if you would even come across here, but I think we've talked about it on the show before. Corridor has talked about it on their show before. Sampling is basically if you have any reflective surface, it's going to reflect the HDRI map around, or perhaps ray trace to real objects in your scene. And the number of samples you have tells it how many pixels it should sample to tell you what is reflecting right in that specific spot. So the lower the sampling you have, the more flickery these are, because it could suddenly be reflecting all white, or then suddenly be reflecting all black, instead of having some kind of gradient in between them. Speaking of interpolating gradients, if you have a clip that you'd like us to analyze or talk about or react to, throw it in that chill box, and we'd be very happy to do so.
Do it. Link is there at the bottom.
Excellent. I feel like I'm pretty close on this thing now. Okay, so I have this full backdrop, roughly, of the path that he's supposed to walk along. One thing that I'm going to maybe do, I don't know if this will work well or not. I'm going to try to smush it all together, and I'm going to use the smear brush. And if you have the smear brush set to a pretty high strength, you can take pixels like this right here and just smear them across. And what's kind of cool about that is I know that he's walking on a sidewalk, but the generative fill kind of got rid of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smear across this like that and simulate a sidewalk being here, because I want in my video game version for there to be a sidewalk. Looks like there's sort of some hints of the sidewalk over here. I'm going to smear them right into there. And this isn't necessarily the greatest, the way that I'm just smearing the pixel straight across, but all of this is going to become very stylized very soon. So I think this actually either won't matter, or what I would actually do with something like this, I mean, honestly, let's be honest, it doesn't matter. I think it actually looks pretty good. So what I could do is I could select this whole sidewalky area like this, and then use the cool script that we were talking about just last week, which is a plugin called Generative Fill Enhancer. I'm going to mess it up again. Generative Fill Tweaker. Check out our last show for a good description of this. What it does is it allows you to use the generative fill tool for a selection, but you have a little slider to say how much do you want it to be influenced by what is already there. So in this case, I want it to look at the the bright and dark values of this area, but I'm going to tell it that instead of just smeared pixels, that this is supposed to be a sidewalk curb like that. And I'm going to have this dial use like maybe 3/4 toward the image. I want it to look a lot like this current image, but it's going to be influenced by sidewalk curb when I press generate. So it's going to think for a little bit. And then hopefully, instead of smeary pixels in the end, what I should get back, look at that. So instead of my smeared pixels, it's being influenced to kind of build something new there. So here's one example. Here's example number 2, a little bit of a sharper curb. And here's example 3. Ooh, example 3 has some really cool bright and dark patches. I can't remember if I like version 1 or version 3. I think I like version 3. And there you have it, folks. A long, crazy sidewalk. All for the sake of this very silly joke.
Nice.
All right, let's save this. I'm going to export it as a... I'm just going to save it as a JPEG or something like that. I should probably also scale it down. I have all of the resolution here that I need. But, and Seth, you're totally welcome to be doing something too while I am...
Oh, trust me, I am. All I'm doing
good.
is just
Yes.
this screen, which, again, not worth the amount of time that I just spent on it. But
Well, what's fun is we could, like, you export this and then you post it to social and say, does anyone remember this? I can't find it anywhere.
Here's what I want to do. I want to actually make the first part of the game. It opens up and you like take one step and then you die. Like the idea that this game kills you kills you immediately, but it's a different way every time. But
and do you win? Like,
No.
does that mean?
No, that's no. You die and you fail.
You die.
They actually, the rest of the game is programmed, but the only thing that ever happens is you start the game and something immediately kills you. And it's weird that it's different every time what it is.
And the kids keep coughing up quarters for it.
You dead. Press start button. And they made it in 16:9 for some reason.
Where did I save? Where did I save that? I thought I just.
Well, it sounds like we are taking a little walk in through Hashi's hard drive. I don't even like this song for it. It's not a good track for it.
Wild.
That was a little more triumphant.
Okay, save a copy. I'm just so confused.
This is the music for you looking through your hard drive.
I love it. Okay, good. There it is.
Speaking of people from far away, Jeffrey Bates says, "Good day from Australia."
Hey.
Hello.
And Orient Access says, "Hello, Maxon. Hello, Red Giant. When will we have AI stuff in Red Giant?" Maxon has been a little careful with AI stuff. We want to, like, Maxon decision makers want to make sure that whenever that AI stuff gets put into tools, it's not replacing artists, and it's not stealing from artists, and it's really hard to make an AI tool that doesn't do one or most of the time both of those things. Like the vast majority of AI tools out there are ripping the crap off of artists with no permission, and Maxon doesn't want to do that. So it may take a little bit longer for that to happen. But that said, there are explorations happening all the time into all kinds of new technologies, not just in Red Giant, but in ZBrush and Cinema 4D and Redshift. Pretty much, every team is looking at ways that that the tools could be improved, not just with AI, but with all the other kinds of new cool tech that's coming on out there.
Yeah, I feel like we could have at some point a discussion like within the artist community what tools y'all think are helpful and cool, and which ones are exploitative.
Like the vast majority of the ones that are doing 3D models are just ripping off, but like they've just downloaded tons of crap off the internet, categorized it, and are spitting it out, but usually worse. Like it's rough. And then the generative image ones are just, the vast majority of those are blatantly ripping off of copyrighted materials and such, and it's just awful. We hate it.
All right.
That said,
I just remembered I didn't grab a lamppost from here, which is silly. of me.
Photoshop's generative fill is very nice for what Hashi just demoed, and they don't use stolen stuff. All Adobe's Firefly model is trained on the stuff that they have permission to use, which is nice. But also why you can't get Coca-Cola logo to show up in anything in Firefly.
Still don't own it. Okay, let's see if we can. I want the rest of this. Yeah, so here's a fun example. I want the bottom of this lamppost so I can use it in the multiplane. So I'm going to use the generative expand tool, which will make up the bottom of this lamppost. Impressive. I think this is probably the closest to what we got there. And then I'm going to use what is another fun feature, select subject, which is something that is machine learning trained. So not generative AI, but nuts. It knows there's a human there and it really wants the human. So let's instead image crop to just this lamppost, and now I'm going to say select the subject of this photo.
Sunny wants your final product to be 4:3, not 69, by the way, Hashi.
Oh, good point. Thank you. You caught me just in time.
And Orient Axis says they're not looking for generative AI tools in Red Giant Tools. They just want to be able to say, if they have an idea about a Trapco particular setup, to just prompt the setup and it'll generate a preset in particular. That's a very interesting thought. How would you?
Well, the closest we have
I don't
right
know
now
how you would
is
how you'd create the training data for that. Even like how would you train the AI?
We have our tagging system and are trying to kind of increase the number of presets and things available to people that you can just search in the
search
Red
is
Giant dashboard.
the search right inside particular. If you go in the particular designer now, there's a search in there and it works. There's a bunch of presets already in there, so kind of already is there. It's just not AI.
It's closer. It'll yeah, it's not AI, but it would give you something that is in the vicinity. Probably have the right number of systems and things like that.
I don't know how you'd even train a data set on that. You would just have to build every possible thing. But then you're just building presets again.
Just build everything.
Believe me, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about what is trainable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, great idea.
I wonder if you'd have to get like a bunch of artists to just give their Tropico particular setups, and then some would have to go through and tag what they are for the computer to start learning off of them. Well, obviously the problem is a lot of really powerful Tropico particular setups are also using assets inside After Effects. For example, like the layer maps, where you can drive different parameters in particular or form with layer maps in After Effects. So to get a lot of particular looks, you would actually need to have other layers in After Effects with like footage or effects on them as well. Wow, this is getting more complicated than I thought it would be.
All right, we're going to go with 640 by 480 for my dimensions
nice.
Here. And now, why do I feel like my everything is dragging? I'm going to close Photoshop. No need to save that. Save that. And I'm going to purge all. Yeah, delete those 54 gigabytes. Okay. How did we do? Let's see. All right, here we are. Okay, now it's being a little bit more responsive. So I'm unsure of how I want to do this. I could apply the dithering to the whole thing, and I think that I want to use an error diffuse dither, and probably the Commodore 64 palette that was my instinct on how I wanted to do this. Let's see how that pays off. Error dither, Commodore 64 palette, default settings. Okay, so what do we got here? That's at half. So maybe not enough. Maybe I need more. since I'm doing it to the whole image, I'm probably really straining myself a little bit on what result I'm getting here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to, instead of arrow diffuse, actually we will use arrow diffuse, but we'll just use the natural dither. Well, hello, kitty. Okay, so let's see, what do I want to do? So right now what's happening is I'm applying the pixel effect to the entire piece of artwork, which one thing that's nice about it is that would mimic the way in a video game, like this piece of artwork, was dithered once, as opposed to being dithered per frame. But I have a feeling that I'm getting a weird result because of it. So let's see what our whole image looks like if we applied the arrow diffuse dither to it. Oh, that looks so cool. Okay, let's turn up the posterized levels to, okay, so 12 is pretty generous. That's almost like giving me back all of my colors. And when I actually even just look at it on our preview screen, I can see hardly any stylization happening to it. Just for kicks, let me try the ordered dither just to see if that is more fun. Okay, that's definitely another distinct look. I think I really do like the error pattern as opposed to the ordered. We're going to go with that. We're going to do this. Let's try it quarter resolution.
Corridor resolution?
Corridor resolution.
Where's our corridor? Did it drop?
Corridor already did it.
Second time it's come up on this episode.
I think I retired it.
Yeah, we had to. You have to make difficult choices when you're running an automated drop machine. Okay.
I need to move on to something else. What else should I do? I've spent way too much time on this.
Let's see, I have
20 minutes.
I think that because this image is so wide, I might benefit from splitting this into individual scenes and getting a good pattern on them, which I hate.
Seth, I think you should find some MoGraph uses for some of the dither tools that aren't in genuinely trying to emulate older video game styles, which you have.
I already did it, man. Here, I'll show you. Let's get our logo real quick. VFX and Chill logo season 4. Boom, there's our logo, right? So let's bring it up a little bit bigger. I'm going to add the Dino Shader preset that I have here that creates this simulated shading on it. I'm going to turn up the shadow diffusion a bit. And I actually haven't tried this with the newness. Let me try. Let's put a div. Let's put the order dither on top of it. And let's I get it very interesting. So what if I turn down the rim light settings, the rim light brightness just a hair, or increase the darkness on the
Increase the darkness.
Here we go. This is the kind of stuff I was doing on season 2 graphics, where I'd be getting, maybe if I turn up let me just highlight everything and collapse it all, and then open just the order dither. Set this to a quarter, maybe. It's like too much, but I'm trying to make it show on the thing. But if I,
That was cool. Just animate that. Holy crap.
I know. It actually is a cool effect. Now we're getting something really cool, which is like this very subtle shading that's happening. Why don't I actually?
Hola, Bruno. You're not too late. You got 15 minutes left of the show. Then you can go back and watch the beginning.
Heck yeah.
Go up to a quarter, maybe?
Quarter digital.
Quarter digital. This is just a quarter digital. This is cool looking.
There. Yeah.
And again, like, I'm just trying to give this like a little bit of like subtle. So honestly, it's like I turn that up a whole
texture.
lot. But
you're really using it as a texturizer, really. Yeah.
100%. So instead of the order dither, let's maybe try. See, now this way set at half is actually really neat because like it's giving a very subtle texture that almost reminds me of like Spider-Verse level.
Yes.
In fact,
that's pretty cool.
How about this?
How about it?
I've got this shading on it. Let's do the halftone dither on it.
Let's do
looks cool.
The halftone dither again.
Hit printer. Mm-hmm. No. What do I want? Let's do dither size. I'm just thinking, I haven't actually messed with this one a whole lot. Never mind, this might not be the right way to go about it, but this is the right way to do where you fly through the Columbia logo at the beginning. Hashi recreated that for our content filter. Content?
Yeah, I did.
Come on.
No content? Where is our content thing?
What is happening? Mr. Friction?
Sorry.
Don't you ever forget about Mr. Friction, baby. It's a physics term.
Now, hang on. Let me see. We've got to have the content one. That's ridiculous.
We need content. Is Sorry still around?
Yes, I turn it off, though.
We say it a lot with our Canadian influence.
It is the Sorry one. Yes. Hang on a second. Do we fly through it? We do. So watch this. This little effect right there that Hashi recreated.
Oh, yeah.
That.
And that effect, by the way, was actually using the layer as an input for mirror. Or not for mirror, for... form.
Yes. Yeah. What's going on with the show? There it is. Okay. So
do we still have the logo is too annoying drop? Because that was one of my favorites.
That was really complex and had all of this like automation to it. So unfortunately, I don't have it.
Oh, I missed that one. Well, but that said, the logo has gotten calmer since people used to complain about it, so it's not as necessary.
I intentionally made it less annoying for people, but I've got the party here somewhere.
We listen to you. Whoever says we don't listen to our people?
Me. I say it. You all can go to hell. And as long as you subscribe first to our channel.
Make sure you also hit like on this video.
Please like and subscribe.
It helps. It really
it truly does.
The reason everyone says it is because it's true.
I like
it's just annoying.
This nice little threshold posterization stuff, which again is really fun to actually animate. If you look at there's some motion motion design possibilities with animating the posterization, the dither bias here. Whoa! A natural trigger of Imagine the Possibilities. That was the very first one we've had on the show, and we made that thing a long time ago.
It's been lying in wait. It's been lying in wait.
It's going nuts, man. If we're not careful, we might get canceled. It's not relevant, but it worked really hard on that one. You'll notice that it takes screenshots of us. So hang on, Hosh, real quick. Let's pose. Canceled.
I was so mad.
Again,
back then.
so much work went into that idiot.
And never.
We're hardly ever canceled.
Goodness. What have you signed up for, everybody?
Custom dither. Why not? Oh, that's pretty neat.
I don't know what I'm doing.
We didn't talk about custom dither. We talked about all the other dithers.
Oh, yeah.
Custom dither is a cool one.
It is. I've been scared to use it for some reason.
Here, maybe I can use custom dither over here and what I'm doing. Okay, I got my background. I got a adjustment layer on top of it. I'm going to apply custom dither. Look at that. See, it solved my problems. Just like the others, you can choose the resolution that it'll be outputting at and your posterization level. So if I turn that to maybe like here, there we go. That's pretty cool.
Seth, can we see Hashi's screen bigger, please?
But look at this. Look what happens when you mess with the hue offset. It's fun.
I know the hue offset is so good to animate. Like it's these little tricks that are
This is a
no
little
longer
VFX and chill
emulating.
party I'm going to do right here.
Yeah.
Okay, check out the Game Boy Pocket palette.
There you go. Hashi's screen is big enough we can see it now. No, you're good. You're good, Seth. He made things bigger.
Okay, I know that it's difficult, but like we know what we're looking at, which is this cool buildings going by. Oh yeah, so here we go. So if we did like Game Boy Pocket, we could do a background that looked kind of like that, and then we just need a little character to move along that. We could even go to a higher resolution than the Game Boy ever had. Let's see, dither bias maybe right here. Okay. Goodness. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, I don't like that it's the dither pattern moves, or rather that each frame is redithering itself, and I just can't think of a faster way to do this unless. Will it work? Will it work if I apply the effect to the whole thing? Oh, I messed it up. Tried applying my.
Oh,
so don't apply it to 16,000 pixel wide things, I guess.
Depending on the size of your GPU. If your GPU's got enough memory, go for it. But Hashi's running a very. Go for it. Anyway, Hashi's running a very old
size of your. Yep.
GPU.
Okay.
Say GPU.
I might be triggering it now.
Oh, okay.
We have Smudge the cat here with us right now. Say hello, Smudge.
No,
I thought you were using like a term, like a some kind of art term that I didn't know. We have Smudged the cat.
Smudge the cat. Hey, Smudge.
So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna smudge the cat, as they say in the business.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I know we're broadcasting an hour later.
Oh, was the cat complaining?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a pet I had to take out earlier as well. I don't mean like take out.
Wow,
like,
I had to take out earlier.
Take
it's
out.
dead.
To the great outdoors.
It's the great outdoor. Is that a? No, it's not a Stephen Curtis Chapman song. Never mind. Sorry. Ignore me.
Goodness. I always do.
It's true.
It's like the Hulk. It's my secret.
My secret is I'm always ignoring you.
Doesn't roll off the tongue the same way, but we'll workshop it. Okay, Singing in the Rain, Panorama. Okay. Okay. This may work, and this may be crazy. Okay, instead of applying
But
the
here's
pixel
my
dither
number, so call me
to
baby.
the entire panorama, I went ahead and what did I do? I quickly had it export all of the frames from that with, I think, overlap. And now I'm going to say automate photo merge in Photoshop, and I'm going to say add opened files. And we'll say, okay, it's just repositioning them. Okay. This should totally work.
You said that in such a cut to way.
Yeah. Cut to narrator's like, it didn't work.
Goodness. Okay.
Or it was like a cue Ron Howard. Like Ron Howard heard it somewhere and leaped.
It didn't.
Such a good 3 series of a show.
Boy, I didn't think this would take so long to do. We need a clip of that at the end of every show.
He didn't.
All right, Justin Leduc wants to know, Seth, what's your longest Wordle streak?
It's been a while. It's been a while. In the words of Nickelback, it has been a while. I have not played Wordle in a while. I am my poison nowadays is Puzzmo. I'm a big Puzzmo guy. I love Puzzmo. Have I said Puzzmo enough? Puzzmo.com, which sounds a lot like Zombo.com, if you're not familiar with Zombo.com. I hope that's still there and not something worse. But anyway, all of that to say, it's been a while, as Nickelback said. I'm in a loop now. So Puzzmo, and I do play Connections a lot. And
Connections is great. I love Connections.
I love Connections, and I'll try. I love doing the spelling bee, and then I started listening to the Lonely Island Seth Meyers podcast and discovered that Andy Samberg is like queen bee in it every day, and it made me feel inferior. And now it's in my head when I go to play spelling bee. I'm like, well,
it's a great podcast, by the way. You got me hooked on that one too.
Podcast, God, I love it so much.
My max Wordle streak is 36. I've played 406 games. I've won 99% of the time, according to my stats. No, my morning routine is as soon as I wake up, I'll go. I have a specific order I do things in. I don't subscribe to the New York Times Games app, so I can't do the full crossword, but I can do the mini, which is a timed one. This morning's I finished in 1 minute and 17 seconds. So I do the mini first, then Wordle, then Connections, then Strands, which is a newer one that I quite like. Then Spelling Bee, and then Letterboxd. Those are the ones I do to kind of wake my brain up in the morning.
Letterboxd I love. Things. I am where with Letterboxd, are you are you a minimum number kind of guy, or do you always have to overperform with Letterboxd?
Oh, on Letterboxd, I always try to get it in fewer than they say. So if they're like, solve it in 6, I usually get it in 3 or 4. That's my goal.
Oh yeah, sorry, underperform. Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm not like unless I'm I gotta go. Like especially some of the other puzzles took a while and whatnot. Yeah. While we're off topic, Anya Wedblack is asking, all you have really good sounding mics. I'm starting a podcast using OBS, but don't know what I'm doing. Do you have simple mic setups? I have a very simple mic setup.
Wait.
Shure.
You didn't give me a chance to answer.
Shure mic.
No.
I'm just giving my quick.
Sorry.
My mic setup is very simple. It's just a USB cord running into my laptop, and it just goes out. But Seth and Hashi are significantly more complicated, especially if you'll watch the episode where it was just Hashi and me a couple weeks back. You'll notice how complicated
Hashi's is needlessly complicated. Considering the fact that he doesn't broadcast the show anymore, it's like I don't know really why you're still using them.
I deleted all of it. I deleted all of that stuff.
Deleted real life gear?
Deleted real life gear. No, what I did was I wanted to be able during the show to occasionally send system sounds to the show. So if I was playing a video, I could optionally say, play that video's sound. And if I didn't want to, I wanted to be able to say, don't send my sound without having to disconnect from the screen, from the stream, doing all that stuff. But yeah, it wasn't worth it in the end. I didn't share sound often enough.
But you will randomly share it in meetings and.
Oh, I do love to share that I'm shopping for spring sound effects or something during a meeting.
I'm sure we talked about it on the show, but my favorite thing is the idea of one of my favorite fears of mine, anxiety, like things that I have, is the idea of like shopping for sound effects during a meeting and that audio being sent to the meeting. The idea of just glass shattering sound effects, like being the people in a meeting being subjected to just glass after glass shattering while I am stone faced.
Oh, when I used to work in an office, it was just like 2 of us, then 3 of us, then 7 of us after a while. And the time someone would be trying to find a sound effect without wearing their headphones accidentally, or they have their headphones on, but for some reason have it switched to desktop speakers instead of headphone speakers. But because it's loud enough, they can hear it through the headphones. They don't realize it's not through headphones. Yeah, no thanks.
I can't remember if you told your story on the show or if you want to.
I am not positive which one.
Seth, you've run through some amazing color options, and then you keep going. You've had some great ones.
I do, because I'm really hard to please. And because I'm trying to find this perfect thing to where the font screams you're dead, but the colors scream it's a cop game you're going to get to play hours of. And
so you want it to, yeah.
Oh, you want it to be like a blue,
like a Mai Tai.
Yeah, it's like there's some part of me that wants it to be like this tropical game. There's other part of me that wants it to be like
tropical game set in Chicago.
Yeah, tropical game set in Chicago. Speaking of, my wife and I went on a trip to Chicago a few weeks ago and went to every not every. We went to a bunch of restaurants from the Bear because we're dorks, and it was wonderful. What? Well,
Dorks
maybe it just knew what else
it.
My wife and I did on the trip, and it just knew.
It just knew.
Nailed it. Nope. Anyway.
I mean, the definition of a dork could,
yeah, I know.
If
we know what it is, but does my computer know?
I don't think your computer knows.
For those not knowing.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
No, they
just
can Google. They can Google and find
it.
out that it's a whale's.
Or Bing it.
Or Bing it. Ooh, this is actually kind of cool. Even though it screams you're dead in a way that I didn't really want it to, but I honestly, this is just like a relaxing thing to me. Is just cycle through color palettes.
It really kind of is, and I do love that this plugin suddenly made accessible all of these types of palettes right within Photoshop, because within Photoshop, within After Effects, because I'm not a palettes kind of guy, but I do love getting to see them and stuff.
We all love getting to see them. I think I had it perfectly with this color palette, to be completely honest. So maybe I just need to revert back to this. So let's grab these.
I know that we're running a little into overtime here.
But we started late, so it's okay if we go a little long.
You're right, but I forgot that I've not been paying attention since we changed up we changed the game this week.
Oh yeah, we did. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to say time, freeze frame, and let's crop this down. Crop to region of interest, and then let's put call that the umbrella. I don't know why I think that I'll get this done in time. I guess I feel close. I don't know.
To me?
Position. Never closer.
I thought we had a drop for close. Do we not?
No, that was close.
There it is. There it is.
Goodness.
Hashi, you're getting pretty good there.
Let's see. I feel like I'm pretty close. Okay. Be at right here. Okay, I just got to get a rotation of this thing going. How many rotations is it per one? So it's 2 rotations during this time period. Okay, let's see. We're close. Okay. Rotating it. Okay, what am I trying to get to? To there. Okay, close enough, we'll say. All right, char. Let's go over to here and see what happens if we add way bigger than it needs to be. Oh, composition, trim to work area. And let's export this as a sequence first too.
We got some more singing happening in the chat. So just a reminder before we head out, make sure you update your things. Maxcon Studio got a tiny little update that removes a huge frustration for me, where you can now just drag your footage or logos into the capsules that have video footage and logos and whatnot in there. So much easier to do that stuff. And Universe, for those of you who have Universe subscriptions, Red Giant subscriptions, or Max on One subscriptions, Universe now has 6 new tools, palettes, which is fun, and 5 different dither tools, which you've been watching us play with all this episode. So make sure you get your updates in today. And one more thing that I would like to mention is that if you are a senior motion designer in the Canada area, Maxon has a position opening. Tell them I sent you. The link is in the chat. So yeah, if you're a senior motion designer and it's in Montreal, I think. So if you're in the Montreal area, check that link in the chat. No, Waterloo, whatever. Close enough. In Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. So check it out.
Look at that. I think it's our first position opening notification on the show.
Yeah, I thought I'd bring it up. It's because a lot of the positions at Maxon are for like developers, GPU coders, and that kind of stuff. Plus, lawyers and financial folks and HR people, because the company's like growing, so they need all those other support positions. But so there's no reason to say, hey, anyone's a international business lawyer on the show. Our viewers are not, most of them. I don't know if you're an international business lawyer. Feel free to say something in the chat or ping Red Giant on social media, call me a fool. But I figure most of our folks are probably VFX artists or motion designers. And so when I saw the motion design position was open here, I thought, you know what? I'll tell our loyal listeners about it.
Hash, let's see what that looks like before we go.
I think it's going to look a little something like... Let's posterize it a little bit more. All right, here we go. So this looks a little something like, what am I looking for? Tilde.
I don't want to be that. There we go. Look at that. Considering you did that in like 10 minutes, that's freaking impressive.
It's pretty great.
It just took 2 hours to do the panorama and like 20 seconds for this together.
The easy part, and then 20 seconds to do the hard part. That's the Hashi way. Bruno says, do you rotoscope that entire thing in After Effects? He was doing it the whole time in the side of the screen over there. We were distracted by Seth's pretty colors, and he's over there rotoscoping. But you keep in mind, he only rotoscoped a little bit. He only had to roto a little bit of it. We have a rotoscoping drop somewhere. We have motion tracking.
It'll happen.
We do. It's a lot, though.
There it is.
So listen, this was a fun week. Update your universes if you have not, and mess around.
I like the sound of that.
Make some noise with these pixel dithers. And please, for the love of God, make sure you are subscribed to our main channel at VFX and Chill. And do us a favor. Share us with as many people as you possibly can. Like, just tell people to watch VFX and Chill.
Do that.
And
I like that.
If you want a deeper dive into the pixel dither tools, there's a tutorial with Chad Perkins. The link for that is in the chat. It's over on the Red Giant YouTube channel, youtube.com/Red Giant.
Yes. Great summary of all of these tools and what they do.
I am so excited, guys. I love all of you. I hope we have an incredible weekend and an incredible week, and we'll see you back here next week. Same new time, same new channel. YouTube.com/VFX and Chill. Bye.